Okay, so for today's Saturday stuff, I wanted to talk about virtual reality. I've done a few assignments about this, and I think I've got a good handle on it. But first, I want to talk about the difference between VR and AR. So, virtual reality, fully artificial environment, full immersion. Think of VR as you are in a different world. You put the headset on, and you no longer see the room that you're in. On the other hand, augmented reality is you see the room that you're in, but you've augmented it, you've changed it in some way. So you can still see the room, but you've added some three-dimensional features. I think a really obvious example of this is Pokemon Go. You're still walking down the street, but all of a sudden you see a Snorlax. And then with anything, we've got to have a use that's like in reality. We're mixing both of these up. And so now we've come up with a new division called mixed reality, where maybe you're in VR, but then you can interact with it and change how the VR looks, whatever. So I'm going to talk about VR today. One option for VR that's pretty easy to use and free would be Google Expeditions. So the name of it is Expeditions, free app that you can get. And so you see here, the kids are looking in their classroom, but they've added a dinosaur. That would be AR. VR on the left, you've gone to base camp. AR, you've added a volcano. Personally, I think I like VR better than AR for many reasons. We can talk about that later. Google Expeditions has some pre made expeditions that you can take your class on, but you can also create your own in Google Tour Creator. So I've made one in Google Tour Creator that aligns with the Planet Earth pole to pole episode all about biomes. So I was able to choose which places I wanted to add. Each tab is another place in the expedition. Um, so I specifically chose these locations. I was able to get the description. These are just 360 images that are available on Google Maps. But something kind of cool about this is you can add additional information to these. So you can click and add a text box, add a video, add an image within the 360. So your students would have to manipulate and move around. So maybe they click on the tree and they learn about what type of tree it is and whatnot. I think you could add a limited number of tabs that you would like to add. Um, Part of why I like this is I aligned it with the actual locations that are in the video. So it doesn't just match up biomes, but it takes you to Malaysia and the places that you see in that episode. So for my recent assignment, I had to talk about recommendations. So I say start with whatever's possible in your classroom. 360 images and just 360 videos. I use those in Nearpod. They're not actually VR, but it's a good stepping stone if you're going to use something like Google Cardboard. And now you're familiar with 360 pictures and 360 videos and you know what they can do. Samsung has another one that's like Google Cardboard. And in addition to Google Cardboard, there's also a Nearpod headset. The school district actually has a set of these. They only have 10 of them, but it is an item that you can check out and reserve for your classes to use. You could check out those 10 headsets. The con with these headsets is that you have to have a phone or some other device that you can insert into the display. What you're just getting is the stereo lens, and you have to provide the computer device. Pros and cons to that: I don't like downloading apps that I don't want to. Other people don't like downloading apps that they want to. So this isn't something I'm comfortable requiring certain students to do to get that 10 devices. I don't know. So there's that. The third option, more sophisticated option, is the virtual reality headsets. These are two of the most popular ones for like miscellaneous use as well as specifically for gaming for PlayStation. And these are the lenses as well as the computer device intact. I don't know who this is a reality for, and if your school does have this, you don't have a class set, maybe you just have one or two that you have to rotate through. So I think for most people, they're looking at, do we just go on expeditions with the 360 images? It's not really VR, but it is the most immersion you're going to get for little money. Or do you use something cheap like a Google Cardboard and get some devices? It doesn't have to be a phone. It could be some iPods that have internet access on them, and you can download apps on them. And then the other recommendation that I have is, regardless of what you do, the technology is supporting learning. It's not just technology for technology's sake. Um, you're going to need to be able to use it correctly. So, how do you use it? Maybe you get students to experience what they're learning about and take them on a field trip where they can't go. I don't know. If you can think of it, I guess the possibilities are endless on how you can make the content more engaging by taking the students somewhere else.